Okay, ready, go.
Good evening. This is the Oscar expert here with Brother Rowe. It's time for a roundup of the past week or so of Critics Awards because it's that time of year where the critics groups get together and they sit at their big tables and they decide what movies and in some cases anthology series made for TV that they will award. Um, and how often do these like line up with Best Picture? Are they important for the Oscars or are they just important for themselves? And they tell us something else about how these films have been seen throughout the years. Sometimes they're telling, sometimes they're misleading. Can we think some examples? Perhaps Get Out was really surging. Like, oh shit, like everybody's nominating Get
And
Out.
Mad Max surged a lot
Right.
for critics. Like you can
Grand
kind of
Budapest
see.
Hotel.
Yeah,
But then on the other hand, Carol, Beale Street, those are movies that looked like they were maybe like top three contenders, like big stuff, but didn't end up getting Oscar nominations. So
right.
we gotta be careful.
It helps. It means there's hype. Like if there's hype there, if people are getting nominated here, that's great to see. If people are getting snubbed here for films that are geared towards critics that have like 90 on Metacritic but like aren't crowd pleasing, then we're gonna say like, okay, well they should be getting nominated here if anywhere. So that's also telling. But we also just want to appreciate like these are critics and what they think about the films and whether they're predictive of Oscars or not. It's fun to see what the critics are choosing to honor.
And no surprise, but Nomadland is the sweeper here. We all knew it was going to happen, but we actually have a lot of surprises, a lot of shit going on, and you're all confused, and I'm confused. So let's start out with the Boston Society of Film Critics. Given Best Picture to Nomadland, runner-up First Cow. It sounds surprising. Wow, First Cow is going all the way up there. First Cow wasn't even on my Oscar list like at all before these. I mean, it's still not really, but your First Cow is considered like the best movie of the year according to critics' top tens. And then Nomadland's like number two, and Never Rarely, Sometimes Always is like number three. And so, those are the critics' favorite movies of the year, and the critics' circles are honoring those movies. Director Chloe Zhao, she's literally not losing any of these, not a single one. Ensemble, Ma Rainey, doing very well with Ensemble Awards, as we will see. Minari's the runner-up. I think that SAG nomination could be really, really important for Minari's Oscar chances if it can get into SAG. I think we hope it does. Best Actor went to The Father. Anthony Hopkins doing very well. Riz Ahmed as the runner-up for Sound of Metal. Riz Ahmed, folks,
Doing excellently.
in there. He's in there. He's a top three or a four.
Yeah.
He's fucking in there.
This went from me saying he's snubbable to okay, he's Viggo Mortensen in Captain Fantastic, where like he's in this indie film and he's not gonna like. It seems like he actually might get nominated everywhere. To like, I feel like he might be a lock at this point. You can't really watch The Sound of Metal and say he's not worthy of a nomination. So I think that's great. And we're seeing that he may be more viable than even Gary Oldman. He might be like really sticking in there. He might be very solidly in there. Yeah, what else are we seeing here? I mean, we got Sydney Flanagan's really been sweeping these awards. Really been sweeping.
Yeah, I think she's got like the most wins along with Frances McDormand or something like that at this point.
I don't think we're going to see her at the Oscars. I think that'd be pretty bizarre if she showed up anywhere like big, like the Golden Globes or the BAFTAs. But it's nice that she's getting attention. It's a really good performance.
Love Julia Garner and The Assistant. We gotta shout that out.
And this is just so pleasing to me. We said in the video that Paul Raci is good enough to win an Oscar in the movie, and we were like, no, he's not going to get nominated because no one's talking about it because he's not been in any movies before that people are likely to recognize. And yet, he has been sweeping wins, not just nominations, but like winning everywhere. So thank God, because I actually think if we gave the Oscar to Paul Raci, that would be a great decision. But I think right now it's more of a question of whether he can get nominated than whether he can win. If he gets nominated everywhere, then we can talk about him winning, perhaps. Like maybe.
Oh, wow, oh. Yeah, I think you got to stop there because you got to remember
we hit the
that.
brakes there, huh?
So Paul Raci's not necessarily even a lock. We have no idea if the major bodies are going to care. I think like Critics' Choice will give him the nomination, but is he Ethan Hawke at First Reformed, where he gets the most nominations, or Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, perhaps gets the most nominations, still gets snubbed because they don't care. Now Paul Raci is such a non-industry actor that I don't know. I don't think he would like win like for being like this nobody who comes out with an amazing performance. I don't think that would win. We also have to remember that these Critic Awards that are happening like this week and next week are not doing the Oscars thing where they extended the deadline to February. So it's going to look a bit different because there's films that are eligible for Oscars like Judas and the Black Messiah and Billie Holiday that are not going to show up here at all. We don't know where they're going to factor in. We can assume that Kaluuya is going to be a fucking supporting actor contender as long as he's in the category. So
we don't know if if Kaluuya is in supporting, I think he would win. But I'm really happy because Paul Raci, his Oscar chances are there. Like just for him getting nominated, that would be amazing. I don't know. Are you putting him in your top 5 at this point? I think again he's like snubbable just because like people don't know him. But Sound of Metal, a lot of people are watching it. They're nominating it for picture. They're nominating it for actor. I'm not saying the Oscars are, but people are like actually recognizing the movie. They like it
a lot. Yeah.
So that makes his chances quite good.
Yeah. Sound of Metal as a whole is going up, up, up. I think it's going to win sound too. Runner-up Brian Dennehy in some Driveways. I haven't seen that film, but I heard he was like, really good in it. And
are there like too many of these that we can't just go through every single one, right?
Well,
or are we just gonna have to skim them?
We can skim, but we can't like we're gonna
and they can see them on the screen. Like Yo Jung Yoon is winning everywhere from Minari. You called that.
I told you. You didn't believe it was obvious.
I thought Seyfried might split some, and she's been doing pretty well as also.
Yeah, she's the runner up, and she's kind of in there, even in a lot of places where Mank is mostly absent, which we'll see.
That's been interesting. We'll talk about that.
But yeah, Yo Jung Yoon is kind of sweeping the support. Actually, there's one person who's sweeping more than her. And we will get to that.
Wait, who's that?
It's Maria Baklava.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
More, the most.
Oh, yeah. And then here we have 2 dark horses for best screenplay. I'm thinking of anything's First Cow. I'm really happy that people have been nominating. I'm thinking of anything's for screenplay. Sometimes picture director too, which is amazing.
I've seen actress
and it's an outside shot for screenplay. Like we have to give it that. But then we also have First Cow, which is like doing really well overall with these critic circles, and we are seeing a little bit of a surgence for First Cow in screenplay, maybe taking like a 5th slot, kind of like First Reformed. I'm not totally like convinced First Cow's success here is gonna reflect a Best Picture nomination, but I think a screenplay is possible.
It would be a really good way to honor Kelly Reichardt, who's just been like in the scene for decades now and has just never gets Oscar recognition. I would actually, First Cow is not necessarily my favorite movie of the year. I like it a lot though, but to see her get nominated would be pretty great. New Filmmaker. I don't know if we need to like go over like all the shit.
Yeah, New Filmmaker don't really need that.
Collective has been doing really well with documentary awards, which is also up for foreign films. So it could be a second instance. Like last year, we had Honeyland nominated in both categories. That seems like kind of likely. Animated feature, The Wolf House. Fucking bizarre acid trip of a movie. If you haven't seen it,
stop motion.
Just if you want to see some experimental, like haunting, weird ass animation, then The Wolf House.
Yeah, it's almost like it's pretty much an experimental film in a way. It does have a narrative, but it's a loose definition of what we're used to with narratives. It's an interesting movie.
And Wolfwalkers, the 2 wolves, I would say, are doing really well with animated feature nominations along with Soul. Cinematography, Nomadland. No surprise here. The critics group seem like they would really go for that. And runner-up, we have Lovers Rock, which is mwah. It's great. Mwah. It's fantastic. And it's nice that they picked a film because we'll see sometimes they just give it to the entire anthology, which is weird.
Yeah, Lovers Rock had amazing cinematography, and we're going to see that Steve McQueen and Lovers Rock are actually showing up like quite a lot with these, which I'm really happy about. Lovers Rock is like probably in my top 5 at this point.
I love this next one. I'm thinking of ending things for editing.
Oh yeah, great
Which
stuff.
the editing in that film has been like a little misunderstood. Even like I even was unsure the
There's
first
a
watch.
really good video on YouTube of someone talking about how it's like disjointed, but like purposefully so, and it's really good to watch if you want to like. Yeah, it's really a great video.
And then Nomadland, which is like definitely getting nominated for editing. I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think so.
Top contender. Best score. Minari's getting that hype for score, fellas. I mean, it shouldn't be too surprising because it just makes sense that like that's a critics award. Hopefully, it can go all the way.
Yeah, that could be like a kind of a brutal, sad snub when it comes to the Oscars, but we'll have to see.
All right, I'm gonna handle this one because this is fucking tricky as hell. So, Indiana Film Journalists nominated literally every movie that came out this year. Then they have like 10 finalists, and then they also picked a winner. And they have an insane amount of nominees in every category. So it's basically like, what isn't here? What isn't here? Where's Mank? Mank didn't show up at a single fucking nom for the Indiana
That's
Film
weird.
Journalists. It's
That's
very,
weird.
very, very weird. But you will see that Nomadland won. Nomadland's always winning, isn't it? It's
What's
always
the
winning.
20th century?
It's I need to look into it a little bit. I don't
Right.
quite know. Animated feature Soul gets a win. Wolfwalker's runner up. These two are really duking it out. And obviously the critic circles might favor Wolfwalkers a little bit because like Soul's the Disney movie. Like, does it need that kind of attention? Like, do we let's give the boost to Wolfwalkers is what they're saying. We're gonna see Soul soon coming to you Christmas to your TV and your living
But
room.
make no mistake, it's not going to be competitive when it comes to the best animated
Yeah.
feature of the Oscars. There's not a competition. Soul is going to win that. It's done. We've seen this before. Like when if there's like a great Pixar movie in there, there's just nothing that can beat it. Even Klaus versus Toy Story 4. Best foreign film, another round's winning a lot of shit.
And Bakurao, which is also winning a lot of shit, was submitted for last year's Oscars and didn't get nominated. And Beanpole was nominated. Was Beanpole? No, Beanpole was snubbed last year, but it's close. So those two aren't even in contention. And those are the other top
Yeah, I
contenders.
put Bakurao and Beanpole on my watch list. I'm ashamed I haven't seen them yet. And then documentary Dick Johnson is Dead is also ended up on my watch list because people are saying like that's one of the best films of the year, one of the best documentaries, and it's like a dark comedy about like a dying man, which sounds it's like that's great. Like I want that.
Original screenplay. So there's been a little bit of a campaign for Never Rarely Sometimes Always to get a screenplay nomination, and some have been giving it the award. It's kind of a way, like if you're like giving First Cow screenplay to throw the movie as a whole a bone. I think you could say maybe. Another I'm thinking of anything's win, which is kind of dominating. Oh no, this is a runner up, but Nomadland won adapted screenplay, which I'm kind of iffy about that with the Oscars because I don't see other strong contenders really, but it's also not a movie that screams screenplay as much as it does like director, cinematography, visual storytelling. Director Chloe Zhao wins director. Regina King One Night in Miami a runner up here, which is kind of interesting because One Night in Miami has been very spotty and strange, and I can't tell what's happening with it. It's very strange. And One Night in Miami, weirdly, is not, if you go up, it was not one of the finalists in Best Film. Ain't that strange? And they still gave it runner-up in Best Director. Wow. McDormand winning a lot of actress awards. Jessie Buckley runner-up here, which is a great pick. She's getting some good recognition. Maria Baklava. This is one of many wins that Maria Baklava has had for Borat. Young Jung-yoon runner-up. These two are taking the Critic Awards. They're sweeping the Critic Awards. What the hell's happening here? Also, no Amanda Seyfried. Told you they didn't nominate Make anywhere. What the hell's happening here with Maria Baklava, Justin? What do you think?
I don't really know. I mean, it makes sense that the critics kind of like that. It's a little bit out there. We don't really know what the real awards bodies are going to do, or recognizing a performance that's in a quasi documentary. So yeah, that's kind of out there. That's pretty out there. It's kind of like, I think it's more like how they nominate Scarlett Johansson for like doing the voice of an iPhone.
No, I will tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. It's Lupita Nyong'o and Us. It's the genre performance that I think she won like maybe the most actress awards I mean, at least at first, it looked like she was out front. But then she doesn't get nominated. She even got the SAG, which I think Maria Bakalova could actually get like Critics' Choice or Globe or SAG. But I think she might just fall short of the Oscar because of the genre thing. They're really afraid to touch that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's how I'm seeing it. But it's really interesting that they're recognizing her in this way.
And I know people have like questions and opinions, but we can't really like read both that and this at the same time. So we'll get to that kind of like after we cover all this stuff. Best actor has been kind of split between like Delroy Lindo, Chadwick Boseman, and
Anthony Hopkins.
And Hopkins.
Yeah.
So that's great. I think, I mean, all of them, like, I don't...
Even Riz Ahmed's been winning a couple of awards.
Yeah. They're all amazing performances. I mean,
and Delroy Lindo, like, we're glad that he's not being forgotten. Some people were afraid that he was going to get, like, kind of backsided for other candidates. But it seems like The Five Bloods, at least with the critics groups, is really making an impact. It's getting a lot of nominations, actually.
This supporting actor campaign for Boseman and The Five Bloods, like, I don't like it. I think he fits perfectly well in Best Actor, and it's for sure a stretch for it to go for him in that category. And I think it's just because he passed away that they're nominating him in that. I don't think he's getting nominated in Ma Rainey for that. I think he's getting nominated because he deserves it. But here, I think that's questionable. There's so many other people that I would choose over him. It doesn't really make sense why you'd like have him win. I could see him maybe getting nominated somewhere normally, but it's like a little much.
Doesn't really make sense. If you remember when the movie came out, it was like, oh, Chadwick Boseman's not actually the one who's getting nominated. It's Clark Peters or it's Jonathan Majors mostly, so it's a little strange.
Yeah.
And Odom Jr. wins here. I think he's looking pretty good.
He's looking very solid.
The Indiana film journalists aren't that important, and we have a lot to cover. So we'll kind of skim through. Ma Rainey's winning a lot of ensemble awards, which is really good to see, because that might even have my vote, to be honest. Score, Tenet and Minari as runner-up. Let's go to the... Florida Film Critics announced wins and nominations. 4 nominees. They gave it to First Cow. They nominated Minari, Nomadland, and Trial of Chicago 7. So this is the first mention so far of Trial of Chicago 7, which is sometimes entirely missing from these nominations. And in a way, this is kind of what we expect, because it's not like the critics' favorite movie. I mean, look at the other 3 here. That makes more sense.
And even like Shape of Water and 3 Billboards, they did. I mean, they got good reviews, but even they didn't show up everywhere when it came to these indie awards.
They did pretty well.
I think they did well, but like, you know, you don't always expect to see that. But the fact that it's in some is good enough to still make me say like, yeah, I could win, because I think it's definitely going to get nominated still. But yeah, I mean, giving it to First Cow, there's a lot of love for First Cow. I think that's like a top 10er for critics for sure, if not like a top 5er. Best Actor, okay, we got to talk about Stephen Yeun here. It's in Best Picture. He's not in Best Actor. I don't think his hype is that strong.
He's gotten a couple nominations.
From the critics who like Minari and all of that, they're not really nominating Stephen Yeun, and so I don't really believe in him that much to get an Oscar nomination. I don't think it's impossible, but we've really seen Riz Ahmed like standing out, and Stephen Yeun just much less screen time, much less of him like to do in the movie. So I'm seeing him like going down a little bit. I'm seeing him down, Riz Ahmed up.
And look at this. McDormand wins again. Paul Raci wins again. And Maria Bakalova wins again. This is just like, at this point, if you're ever going to predict one of these awards, predict Paul Raci and predict Maria Bakalova or Yo Jung-yoon maybe. And you'll just get it right. You'll just get it right all the time.
Mangrove and Ensemble is delicious. It's delicious, okay? The acting in that film is exceptional. If anyone's wondering, all those films, Lovers Rock, all that, are not eligible for Oscars. It's not like a film. It's so you cannot get nominated. Nothing in that movie can get nominated for Oscars.
No, but if it could, not only is it
if it could, I would say like, okay, cinematography is possible, and like maybe, I don't know. I mean, you can't really evaluate. It's 5 different films. So anyway, Zhao and director. I mean, everywhere.
It's insane.
And we're not seeing Mank get nominated for director and picture as much as you think. If anybody's gonna like Mank, it's the critics, and this is like where I think these awards matter. Mank is supposed to be a critic darling because it's isolating a ton of other people. So like a normal awards voter, maybe like a producer, for example, I can't see them loving Mank. I can see them turning that off really quickly because they get bored. And if anyone's supposed to not turn off the movie, it's critics, and they're not really nominating it because Mank is a hard movie to be passionate about. I know some people are, but it's a hard movie to love. And so it's not getting love. It's not getting that much love, which is surprising. And I think we have to take note. Mank is not winning at all, and
No.
it's looking like Chloe Zhao versus David Fincher. It almost looks like you're giving it to like this geezer because I mean even the critics don't want to like give him the award. It's interesting.
Well, some think like,
I don't
well,
want to call him a geezer, but that's weird.
he's not. He's not. Even
No, he's
old.
not a geezer. No, that's
But
fine.
some people are like, just wait till like the main awards, like David Fincher's gonna start winning like the DGA and stuff, and you know maybe he will, maybe he won't, but it's like both films are not movies I would expect to hit with like a broad audience. They're both kind of niche films, so it's like Trial of Chicago 7 is a movie where I would expect it to do even better than it looks like it's doing at like the SAG and PGA and all that shit. But I don't think Mank's that kind of movie because again, it's a little niche. Not everybody's loving it. Not everyone's passionate about it. In fact, Mank has less than a 70% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty insane. And this led to a little bit of a panic where I heard people saying, is Mank like fucking Carol or First Man? Like, is it just not getting nominated?
That's
And
what
I
I'm
don't,
wondering.
I don't think. I don't think that's the case.
The
We have a
only
couple
reason
recent-
the only reason I don't think that's the case is because Mank is so Oscar baity. But,
yeah, and well, here's the thing: that production
but
design,
it's not. But I actually do think like there is a scenario where it could even get snubbed for picture.
I don't know about
Like
that.
I think its likelihood of being nominated is less than Ma Rainey. I think it's less
Really?
than it's less than some stuff like that. Yeah. In my opinion, I don't know. I think he could even get director and not picture. Like people just don't. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
Oh, Soul got a screenplay nomination. I didn't notice that.
Oh, really?
But and Promising Young Woman too, which
Yeah.
we'll get to.
And Soul's not getting nominated for Best Picture really anywhere, which is interesting because like Up was doing pretty well, Wall-E was doing pretty well with critics. It's just a no. It's not that it couldn't happen, but you know they're not waving the flag harder than anybody.
But here's Mank winning cinematography and production design, which
Yeah,
is
that makes sense.
pretty consistent actually. I've seen a lot of that. Probably more Nomadland wins in cinematography, but almost to be expected for like the critics pick.
Possessor and Vision VFX.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
kind of interesting.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck happened?
Go turn on the camera.
No battery power. Oh shit, we're not using the dummy battery.
Replace the battery. Here.
Technical difficulties, huh?
Here. Take that. You can still hear us, so you know, to those who don't actually watch the video, they just listen to it. Yeah, it's on. It's all back. It's all great. The lights went out.
All
All right,
so
cool.
all right, I think what we can do here, because this is taking a little. We should have anticipated how long.
No. We can
But
kind of
hold on,
skim
because the
a little bit.
LA Film Critics.
Like we didn't talk about Promising Young Woman.
I know, but the LA Film Critics and the New York Film Critics are like more important. So let's get to those now.
All right, fine.
Then we'll get to the Chicago, which just announced.
All right.
New York Film Critics Circle. This is a big fucking deal that First Cow won here, and let me tell you why. First Cow winning at New York Film Critics. Every movie that's won at New York Film Critics, and they've been around since 1935. It's older than you. 1935. They've all been nominated for Oscars. They've all been nominated for at least one Oscar. And First Cow seems like it could be the first one ever to not be nominated for an Oscar.
Or it could be nominated for screenplay, and there's no fuss about it.
It could be, but even so, like you look at the past 3 decades, like they're just generally much bigger contenders than First Cow. Like to see First Cow performing really well here is definitely surprising, even though even as it's considered the best movie of the year by critics. And I think generally, I can't tell how much of a discrepancy there's going to be between the critics awards and the major bodies like Oscars and Globes and BAFTAs and all of that. I think it might be more severe than usual because Never Rarely and First Cow, if you were to look at these and take them at face value, would seem like major contenders, and they're just not. Like, they really aren't, because First Cow is just for critics. It's just for like people who really appreciate like films and want to like study them and shit. And Never Rarely has like a fucking 20% audience rating and a 99% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't know any movie that exists that has a bigger gap. That's a giant gap.
Yeah,
right?
they're really for like people who are into indie film and like really appreciate that stuff. I really appreciate First Cow for what it was doing, and I'm gonna watch it again because I just want to. And the cinematography in First Cow, I would like to give that a shout out. I would like that to get nominated for an Oscar.
I agree. But that actually hasn't been happening here very much.
Yeah, First Cow is like visual poetry. So
I don't think I said if
that's like the best way to put it.
I don't think if I said that what I think's winning Best Director, because I might have changed my mind here about Chloe Zhao winning Best Director and not David Fincher, because although David Fincher is the overdue one, although that movie's winning like at least, probably like 3 Oscars, technical categories and stuff, Nomadland has more passion. And typically the Best Director winner is coming from the winner of Best Picture or the runner-up to Best Picture, and Nomadland is clearly either one of those. It's clearly either one of those. And if we look at like Metacritic, I went back a few years. How often is the movie that sweeps, which is Nomadland, how often does that movie win Best Picture? And it's like half the time.
And so someone said, 3.9 on Letterboxd, audiences like it. Letterboxd to me represents like really film lovers. I wouldn't say it represents audiences. I think the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and the IMDb score kind of do.
But the audience
and I understand it's like a lot of it's politics, but I think 20% indicates like it's not just politics. People you could see people finding it to be a boring movie because it's really like about you kind of watching it and like imagining what the character is thinking and like getting clues about it, but you're not really like it's a very internal movie where it requires you to be very engaged and like,
Yeah, so I think I wonder if Mank can really win Best Director if the passion's not there for the movie. And it's just, I don't know if he's going to win on like, give him it because he's overdue and he's David Fincher and we snubbed him. Like, I don't know if that's good enough because Nomadland, everybody is behind that here.
Yeah.
Screenplay actress Never Rarely, look at that. Really performing well here. Delroy Lindo wins. They're not letting him be forgotten, which is great. Another Maria Baklava win. And a win for Chadwick Boseman in The Five Bloods, which, maybe you could say it's because, they wanted to give him one award and they wanted to give Delroy Lindo the other. If you think about it, too, if Chadwick Boseman's nominated for The Five Bloods, which is a possibility, then you have supporting actor and lead actor. I wonder how big The Five Bloods is because it's performing pretty well.
Yeah.
It's like a top 5 movie. If you were to take all these nominations and compile them, it would be like, pretty up there.
We expected that though. We said like Five Bloods would do well with critics no matter what, because people were saying in the beginning of the year like it was their favorite film of the first half of the year, and critics are still really trying to honor it, which is cool. I didn't love the movie, but that's fine.
I think
it has some chances. Like it's definitely coming back up. And I really think that the lack of competition could support it, maybe to a nomination, maybe to a director nomination as well. But again, like The Five Bloods really just strikes me as a film that is a little too weird for maybe the Oscars. They might not touch it.
Well, at the same time that The Five Bloods is rising, I think there are a couple other films that are rising as well. We get into it here, with one of them at least. So LA Film Critics, the hell's this? The hell's this? Best film goes to Small Axe, not Lovers Rock, not Mangrove, but Small Axe. The entire thing. That's 5 films. It's an anthology. It's not even I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think most people kind of had a problem with this. Like, you might see Small Axe winning cinematography as a whole, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, in my opinion, you should just pick a film because it's 5 films, and that's just how it is. Runner-up, Nomadland.
Small Axe is not eligible for Oscars. Want want alert! It's not eligible.
No,
People are
absolutely
asking
not.
about it. It's not going to get nominated for any, but it's not.
No,
it's
going to
good.
be limited. It's going to be competing as a limited series. Like they can't even get away with the argument that it was intended for theaters because it absolutely like confirmed was never intended for anything but BBC.
I have a question. Is there one director award that hasn't gone to Chloe Zhao here?
I really am not sure. I really don't think so.
We need to talk about Promising Young Woman.
Yep.
And
Carey
Carey
Mulligan
here.
And Promising Young Woman also won Screenplay here. So those are the two wins where I think getting those nominations can get the movie like, you know, in the conversation. I think Carey Mulligan is doing really fucking well here. Screenplay, like nominating Emerald Fennell's screenplay, very, very strong with these Critics Awards, giving it. I mean, I think it's getting in for a nomination in actress and screenplay. Like, I think that's potentially becoming like lock territory. I don't know if we can even say such a thing, but that might be the case. And if you have actress and screenplay, can you get Best Picture? Can you get Best Picture?
You can get Best Picture.
You can maybe get Best Picture because here's the fucking thing. Promising Young Woman has been getting some big nominations, like with critics, you know, in their top 5 or their top 10. So, and that's a movie where I can see that there's crossover appeal. Critics like it, and it's an entertaining movie. It has that social commentary. Something about it reminds me a little bit of Get Out because it's a bit of a genre film. That does really well because it hits the nail on the head in terms of social commentary. I look forward to watching it again because there are some things I need to like reevaluate in the movie to see how I really feel about it, but I did like it a lot. It's coming out in theaters on Christmas. Don't know when else we'll be able to see it, but that movie and Sound of Metal are really starting to present themselves as potential Best Picture nominees.
One thing I want to point out, though, is, you know, the critics do think that they are, I would say like the Oscars are composed of lots of different kinds of people. Part of them are critics, and sadly we have seen some people really boosted by critics groups, like Ethan Hawke in First Reformed. He was like winning everywhere, and he didn't get nominated at the end of the day. So we do have to take all these with a grain of salt. I hope that's not Riz Ahmed. I really do.
Oh, I don't think it's Riz Ahmed.
I don't think it is either.
Listen,
I don't think it is either. But I also hope that Carey Mulligan is not Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler.
Yeah, true. But
like, and they nominated him a lot. So I'm just hoping that doesn't happen. But I don't think it will.
And the thing with Sound of Metal that I'm even surprised about is how good the audience ratings are looking. Because, you know, you might think maybe some people think it's slow, but it seems like it's a movie that's really likely to resonate with whoever watches it. And I'm really happy about that. Like, if Sound of Metal got a Best Picture nomination, I'd be all for it.
And documentary film, Time, I think Dick Johnson, I said, is doing well. Time is also doing really well. I want to watch Time. I want to watch it. What else is in here? The editing, like, you want to talk about that? Or
Absolutely. The Father for editing is fucking, like, probably happening.
Really? Probably?
There's not a lot of, like, big contenders here. And The Father, it has, like, you know, a reason to nominate the editing. It's part of the disorienting effect of the movie. It's really skillfully done. And The Father's getting, like, a good amount of nominations here. Like, if it's winning editing here and it's getting a production design nomination here and, like, people are recognizing Hopkins and Coleman, it's getting all the breadcrumbs it needs to gather, like, a secure Best Picture nomination, in my opinion. I think The Father's doing really well. And it's like, it's kind of like Parasite, how we were like, oh, get the fucking production design and editing nomination. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And people are doing the same with those awards with The Father. Like, you got to boost it. It's getting boosted nicely. The Father's doing really well.
It's like clever production design, a little bit unconventional, but, you know, sometimes it does get a nice boost, like Roma, Parasite, recognizing production design in contemporary-ish films. I guess Roma is sort of a period film, so that makes, you know. But, like, films that do interesting things.
Production design Mank is secure. It's like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood shit.
Did we talk about how Soul is winning score and how it's actually doing really well here?
It's definitely
in these score. Overall, it's doing really well. Oh, Glenn Turman.
This is really interesting.
Glenn Turman, shout out in supporting actor. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, he was really good in it.
Yeah,
he was great
him and Coleman Domingo, like, they're excellent.
Yeah.
And they seem to just kind of be sitting on the bleachers, like, waving with Chadwick Boseman and Viola Davis going by. But it was nice that the New York Film Critics could invite him in and say, like, no, like, you were fucking great in that movie. And I wouldn't be opposed to see, like, either nominated. I wonder. I mean, this definitely seems to give Glenn Turman a boost because L.A. film critics and New York film critics are a little more high profile.
But when should we talk about like the supporting actor category and what's happening with Trial of Chicago 7? Like,
Oh, well,
is there like a good segue into that?
Yeah.
here?
Well, next I want to get to a specific awards body that seems like correlative with the Oscars.
Correlative?
Correlative, is that a word? I don't know.
Correlated?
Correlated, sure. I don't know. But yeah, Soul's winning score. Anything else to say about these? Oh, Ma Rainey, like
Yeah, it's actually winning.
runner-up Viola Davis, best actor Chadwick Boseman, Glenn Turman wins. Like Ma Rainey is showing up. It's fucking showing up. All right, it's doing really well. Let's go all the way to these came out fucking today. All right, not these. Get these away. The Music City Film Critics Association, which is Nashville, because you go to Nashville and you play the guitar in the country.
Sneeze.
The reason that I want to highlight these is because they actually seem like they have their taste is a little more geared to what we will see in the Oscars, because some of these categories seem really matched up. Like, look at this one, Best Actor. This is my fucking top 5 right here. This is like the safe top 5. This is Gold Derby's top 5, and they picked it. So that just shows like, there's some obscure picks here and there, but this critics body seems like, they're fans of Trial of Chicago 7. They're doing some lineups that seem similar. I think we can look to them to see what voters are thinking a little more than the other ones, which are picking just.
Well, if only because Trial of Chicago 7 got nominated. Like, what else? What else is?
Well, look. All right, let's take a look.
The father in there.
I mean, look at Best Actress: Carey Mulligan, Frances McDormand, Vanessa Kirby, and Ma Rainey. Like that. Yeah. Those are the top. That's the top 4.
And Pieces of a Woman hasn't been like sweeping or getting nominated that often in acting categories, and we think it might be because it's a 2021 release. So maybe. I wouldn't jump the gun and say that Vanessa Kirby is down, but it's just something to consider.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
And look elsewhere. Supporting actor
Bill
Burr in The King of Staten Island.
Different Bill.
It's a great pick. He was fucking great in that, honestly. Bill Murray is doing pretty well. I saw him get nominated a couple times. They're not forgetting about him. Although On the Rocks, again, kind of a bad audience rating.
Nominated there.
Kind of a bad audience rating.
I think the supporting category, we need to be ready for it to shake the fuck up, because do you remember the year of Spotlight? Critics started nominating nobody in Spotlight, and we had kind of like 5 people we thought were going to be very competitive, and suddenly the critics started boosting like random other people, and it just got so shaken up from there. It was shaking up all the way to the Oscars. But everybody was saying in Spotlight, Michael Keaton and Mark Ruffalo are going to get nominated. And Michael Keaton was number 1 for a while. He didn't get nominated. He completely fell off people's lists. And Mark Ruffalo like barely made it in there, I feel like. I mean, so Trial of Chicago 7 is kind of in a similar situation. Like we said, Mark Rylance was like number 1 in the movie. Sacha Baron Cohen number 2. With there being like a grab bag of other people. And we have not seen that many people nominated from the grab bag. It's really been focused around Sacha Baron Cohen, and I think a lot of that, as I've said, has to do with his performance in Borat, because they just like him. They like how, a comedian can transform and just do something serious. They recognize that as like more of an achievement, which I think is like a little stupid, but...
Well, I'll tell you this, buddy. There's been nowhere so far that's nominated 2 Trial Boys, and maybe we'll have to wait for the bigger bodies to do that, but I think it might be just Sacha Baron Cohen, because where's Mark Rylance? There's actually been one nomination where Frank Langella got it at the Indiana journalist, where they nominated like fucking 20 people. They nominated just Frank Langella, and that was pretty strange. But yeah, so Paul Racy's in here, Leslie Odom Jr. is in here. Let's talk about One Night in Miami here. So this is obviously eligible, it's here, but it ain't fucking here in director, it ain't in picture, all right?
Yeah.
One Night in
Miami's not doing that well in picture director.
It's not doing that well in these Critics Awards, and we were thinking maybe that's it's 2021, but I don't know, like So Are the Father and Nomadland. Like,
I don't think so. I don't think that's why.
I don't think so either.
I mean, it's getting nominated in other categories.
Yeah,
like,
supporting
actor. The reason is because that movie's not that appealing, like, for critics. It's like a nice movie, but I think it's actually a little hard to be passionate about that movie.
Yeah, because you watch it and you're like, yeah, that was like...
You like it a lot, you could see it getting nominated, but, when it comes down to it, like, will people put it on their ballot? I think it'll get nominated still, but I think that Regina King hype is kind of down, especially, I don't know.
Yeah, but she did come in like a runner-up award. Remember that? But check out this supporting actress, Amanda Seyfried, Glenn Close. All right, that's what I'm talking about with these people being like some mixture of critics and Oscar voters. They put Glenn Close in here. Maria Baklava, Olivia Colman, and Ye Jung Yoon. That seems like there could be fucking 4 out of 5 of those people nominated for the Oscar. And of course, there's things like Jodie Foster Mauritanian, like things like that we can't account for yet. But yeah, that's why I think that these are interesting. So we go up to director and picture, and First Cows is still here. Like they're nominating the critics shit like Five Bloods. I'm thinking If Anything's would never get an Oscar nomination, but it's here.
I'm thinking like it has a chance in screenplay now, but I agree that it's not gonna get nominated for picture.
I am glad because it's been getting like a good amount of attention, which is great to see. You can't ignore I'm thinking Of Anything's.
And also, in Promising Young Woman, Emerald Fennell has positioned herself, in the best director race, I think.
Yeah,
maybe even if you're looking at like the women and where they're falling, like Regina King's sort of down, but maybe Emerald Fennell is actually kind of coming up as a woman people could see getting nominated in the category.
Yeah, and Florian Zeller, actually, I think this is not his only nomination, and he's a potential director contender because that movie, there's something to be said for the style of that film, whereas like Ma Rainey, like that hasn't been getting director attention really at all. In a way, it makes sense. It feels more focused on the actors or the screenplay. But yeah, Aaron Sorkin's here. He's like been showing up a little bit. David Fincher shows up, even though he's been absent a lot, and Spike Lee, of course. But I think something notable is
we're also returning to like a normal with Mank here, what we would have expected.
Exactly.
Gary Oldman, an actor.
Yeah,
all that is still happening. I think it's still going to happen at the Oscars.
Yeah, that's the thing. This body, why I think it's interesting is because they're nominating Trial and Mank where we would expect, which a lot of places weren't doing. But then it's interesting in Best Film. Promising Young Woman and Sound of Metal, which both seem to be surging a lot, both make it into the Best Picture race. Like, these could be Best Picture nominees. Promising Young Woman has a screenplay possibly in there, and Sound of Metal maybe could make its way up there, or maybe it just gets like supporting actor and sound. I don't know, but those movies are up. One Night Miami may be down. And Soul's not getting into these Best Picture lineups. I don't know if that would change. So maybe Soul's down.
Maybe, but again, Soul is a movie for everybody.
I think The Father and Ma Rainey are like stable. They're seeming like stable contenders, I think.
Yep.
And this also has interesting technical nominations.
Wait, what about Minari? Was that here?
Minari wasn't here, but Minari's been doing decently well.
Yeah.
I'm still sort of like
iffy
on.
You need a margin
Minari. Oh, all right.
You need to keep that margin.
Nope,
like this, like this, like that.
All right, why don't you scroll down to the technical categories?
Oh,
look, Mank doesn't make it in for ensemble. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you, it's getting snubbed at SAG. I'm telling you, it's getting snubbed at SAG.
We have to nominate at SAG. We have to nominate Ma Rainey and One Night.
Oh, look at this shit.
And Trial of Chicago 7.
Why is Scoob nominated for animated feature? That's so fucking weird. Nobody likes Scoob.
That's odd.
So Minari's in screenplay. Oh, and there's only 5 slots in screenplay. And Minari's in screenplay.
And Promising Young Woman's there. A lot of screenplay hype there, like we said. And I don't know what else you want to look at here. I mean,
but check out score. That's like, this is a potential lineup right here. Minari, Tenet, Five Bloods, Mank, and Soul.
Yeah,
it's a potential lineup right there, isn't it?
Yeah,
I would say so. Critics
not really touching Tenet, by the way. I mean, not that I would expect that at all. I would expect them to touch it in score and maybe VFX, and that's kind of it.
You're gonna eat your own words because they nominated like 4 fucking categories here.
Oh, cinematography. Okay, that makes sense.
And Defy Bloods.
Editing. All right,
I actually think Defy Bloods is like the number 5 for cinematography. That's what I think.
Really?
And News of the World. Look at News of the World.
Really?
Yep. And look at News of the World is making it in here a little bit too.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. And News of the World has reviews now, and it's looking like there's a consensus around it being underwhelming. So I don't know about picture anymore for News of the World, except for, cinematography, production, costumes, whatever. Editing, Tenet got an editing nomination. The Father got another editing nomination. The Invisible Man got an editing nomination, which is fantastic and nice.
All right. Where else are we going to go?
Okay, so I think, we kind of addressed all the trends, but the Chicago Film Critics just announced. Go to them because I have their nominations.
What about all
their nominations?
Pictures and stuff.
That's we're not going to do that. Okay. All right, Chicago Film Critics. they've announced their winners. So we're gonna fucking find out right now in front of your face what the Chicago film critics have picked for
Did
their
we cover
winners.
their nominations, or this is just...
We have not yet covered their nominations.
All right.
We're doing both at once. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
Let's see. Let's start from the bottom. We're on Twitter here. Supporting actress Paul Raci. I mean,
There you go. There you go.
Production design is Mank, which is also
There's also been happening a lot. See, the critics are interested. They repeat, just like the Oscars, the Golden Globes, BAFTAs. They repeat a lot. The critics have their own opinions, and they like to repeat.
You're telling me that at the Chicago Film Critics, Toni Collette got a nomination?
Interesting.
Oh, Letitia Wright and Mangrove.
Oh, there it is.
Excellent.
There it is. Why aren't more people doing that? There it is.
They're not going to do it anymore.
All right, keep going
because of the Twitter.
Keep reading shit.
Costume design, Emma. Maybe could happen. As a nomination. Cinematography's Nomadland. Honestly, I think Mank is winning, but Nomadland is a tough competition. It's tough competition here. I don't think it's going to be...
Oh, they nominated The Vast of Night here. I really like that. That's great.
For what? Cinematography? Oh,
Yeah.
Hell yes. Hell yeah.
Lovers Rock. Good lineup here. Really
Animated
good.
film Wolf
And
Walkers.
oh my god, I love this lineup for cinematography.
Wolf Walkers is just a safe bet all around. Documentary Dick Johnson. Foreign language film Another Round. These are pretty
predictable, pretty standard for what we've seen so far.
Can Dick Johnson win? Because Boys State was my number one, but Boys State ain't been winning. You know, it's not been winning. Best use of visual effects is The Invisible Man. I like that. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that.
That's nice. That's
Supporting
nice.
actress Maria Baklava.
Wait, is Possessor actually like a viable contender for VFX?
I don't know. I
about
thought that was like a makeup movie, and that's it.
That's kind of cool.
I like it though.
It's probably a practical effects movie, but like I don't know. I haven't looked into that. That's just kind of interesting. I didn't expect that.
So Maria
I have
Baklava
to watch
gets another
Possessor.
one. Look at that. I'm thinking if anything's got another editing win. This is fantastic.
Really?
This is great. I love that this is showing up. It's just great. Score is Soul.
I love that Lovers Rock also got an editing nomination.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lovers Rock is just a filmmaking like chef's special. It's a chef's special of filmmaking. Okay, keep going.
Score is Soul, which I listened to a little bit on Spotify, and I think that there's like no chance that it's not Soul because nothing else seems like a winner.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Most promising performer is Sydney Flanagan.
Okay.
Most promising filmmaker is Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman.
Nice.
Emerald Fennell is a promising.
She is on the map. Like we got to look at her next films and you know watch them as contenders. I think
adapted screenplay Nomadland. Honestly, like that's still the front runner to me. Like even though it's not the most screenplay thing.
Oh, Nomadland.
Yeah, because think about like is One Night Miami was our number 2, but is One Night Miami in trouble for a Best Picture nomination? It's not really the top contender.
I don't. Are you saying it's in trouble? I don't think it's in trouble.
I don't know.
I feel like it has performances in it, and they just like that stuff. They like eating that up, and a lot of them are SAG voters.
Original screenplay, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. Look at that. Kind of interesting. I just feel like that's more of like a director movie than a screenplay movie, but
I kind of agree with
it's
that.
easier to it's less like competitive to give it like a screenplay award.
Yeah.
Best director Chloe Zhao and best film. Wait.
Nomadland?
Yeah. No, this is actress. Actress is Frances McDormand. I mean, Nomadland's been sweeping. This is just gonna happen. Chadwick Boseman gets another Best Actor award. He's been winning a lot.
Nice.
Like, it hasn't been like Anthony Hopkins sweeping everywhere, and so.
I like that they're not just giving it to Chadwick because there's so many good lead performances. Delroy Lindo like deserves awards.
Riz Ahmed.
And so does Hopkins. So does Riz Ahmed. So
yeah, the lead acting lineups. Like, say what you will about the best film lineups being like weak this year. The lead acting lineups are fucking chef's kiss this year. And best picture is Nomadland. Like once again. So, I mean, we could just, like, kind of go... I mean...
Exciting stuff. I'm going to have to rewatch First Cow. I really am.
I don't think that we need to go over more because I think that we've like, touched on all the shit that's important. Like, I guess we can recap, like, what's up, what's
we can
down.
also... We can do that, and then we can also look at what people are saying in the comments because they have lots of opinions and they have lots of questions.
Well, I want to say...
About our opinions.
I do want to say this. Like, Nomadland being a clear sweeper, like... Maybe a director frontrunner, maybe a screenplay frontrunner.
That's correct. He's the last posthumous winner, Heath Ledger.
Is Nomad
acting category? Yeah.
Is Nomadland winning Best Picture? I mean, clearly Green Book was not sweeping the critic circles. So we just don't know based off these. But Nomadland is easily a top 2. It's going to be a threat. Like it'll always be a possibility that Nomadland can win, even if it pulls a Parasite and just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like between Nomadland and what? Is it between Nomadland and Trial?
Because Mank is down. Trials
Mank
like
is gone.
Technically down, but at the same time, did we expect it? No, we didn't really expect it, but it's also not doing terribly.
And again, if you can't see it, I just want to have you entertain like a SAG Ensemble win leading into a Best Picture win. It's possible. Like there's a route there, I think. So Nomadland, Trial of Chicago 7. I mean, those are top 2. I wonder if Lee Daniels' Billie Holiday is going to be a big contender.
That's right. We don't really know. We have to remember that Billie Holiday, Judas and the Black Messiah, Cherry with Tom Holland. These movies aren't even out yet. I know, but it's
not for like a Best Picture.
Probably those two. Yeah.
I just think I think Billie Holiday could be pretty.
But
good.
if we imagine that like those two don't factor into the Best Picture race, there's fucking room for Promising Young Woman or Sound of Metal. There is.
And do you think Chloe Zhao is winning director?
I'm starting to think.
What? No. Go ahead.
I'm starting to think so. Is all I was gonna say. I think I talked about that earlier, but yeah, I think she might. But I mean, am I being deceived by the Critics Awards? I'm not sure because like I just don't imagine that there's anybody that would be like, collectively being like David Fincher over Chloe Zhao.
And yeah, here's
I
the
would
thing:
vote for Chloe Zhao.
the Oscars snubbed David Fincher. Other places haven't snubbed David Fincher. So like, what do you do about that? And we thought that Glenn Close was going to get nominated. Was going to win for her movie, and she didn't. And that was like the whole point of nominating her and giving her all those precursors was to have her win, and she didn't. So yeah, I mean, Chloe Zhao I think is actually more likely at this point to win than Fincher, and I think people do vote with their heads, like thinking, okay, well, David Fincher doesn't have an Oscar, but they also are probably more likely to vote with their hearts, and if they like, you just feel Nomadland like more. I mean, it's such a well-made movie, it has a great like story behind it, how it was made, and I feel like she's gonna win director at this point.
Yeah, we have someone saying Paul Raci is winning. These are the conclusions that I don't know if you can just come to like that. Like, I don't even know if he's getting nominated. I'm kind of iffy. I feel like he's maybe safe to kind of put it number 5 because the category is a shit show. But even, I think Supernova also doesn't count for these. So we still don't know where Stanley Tucci will factor in. But again, like Daniel Kaluuya is gonna fucking storm the category, all right? As long as
he's in
there,
supporting,
which he probably will be, because they know now that he can.
But I think Paul Raci has a really good shot at a nomination at this point. I'm just glad that people are. I mean, just because Sound of Metal is a bigger thing than I had anticipated. That people are watching it, people are really liking it. They're putting in their top 10. Like that's really good news for. And I mean, I hope he wins at this point. I haven't seen Kaluuya. And Baklava, same exact deal. I don't think she will win the Oscar.
Also imagine like, someone says we're being deceived by the Critics Award. It might be true. We can't tell if we're being deceived by the Critics Awards. Like remember Bohemian Rhapsody? Like there was no way that the critics were touching that movie. Like they just weren't.
Yeah.
So like we don't know what's happening. What if
it's more like a boost. Like you get a boost, but if you're starting down here, if you're never really sometimes always, like you are not going to get your way into Best Picture. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry.
But like, how do you tell if you're being deceived? Because Mank seeming like it could be down, is that a deceive? Because it depends. It's like if you expect Nomadland to do really well and it doesn't, then that's not just will we wait till the Oscars? It's like no, that's where it was supposed to do well. Where is Mank supposed to do well? I can't tell.
And then for Stanley Tucci and Supernova in general, I guess Colin Firth is part of that. It hasn't come out yet, so don't get your hopes up.
It might not meet the deadline.
If we have to see if it comes out and then starts getting like BAFTA nominations.
Does Soul have a chance at getting into Best Picture? Absolutely, it has a chance. I just can't tell. Like they have.
Yeah, it still has a chance. that has to come out. Like that really does have to come out. And if everybody's watching it over
Well,
Christmas
that's
and
gonna
all that,
happen
like
for sure. But here's the thing, like, I mean, it could easily just be another Inside Out where everybody loves it but nobody nominates it, and it's winning all the score awards. It's like kind of sweeping score, and yet they're not putting it in for nominations. They're aware of it, they've seen it, but you know,
yeah, don't like radically shift your predictions. Just like take note of what's going on.
yeah, like bump Paul Raci up a little bit. Bump up like Promising Young Woman, you know, make these little changes.
And just like remember Lupita Nyong'o and Us was getting so many nominations and like didn't get it eventually, so it just doesn't always happen. And okay, who's winning supporting actress? Like I think Amanda Seyfried still seems pretty good.
Yeah, because I mean Maria Baklava and Young Jung Yoon aren't gonna win, and if there's anyone
Probably
who's been
not.
doing the third best, it's probably her. And I don't think that her frontrunner status has been like overtaken. Also, Ammonite fucking missing in action.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely
Oh, yeah,
missing in action.
nothing
Is it?
for, like,
nowhere,
Kate
no
Winslet,
Kate Winslet,
nothing.
nothing.
So
Goodbye.
good, yeah.
Also,
Just, and they could have nominated it for cinematography because that was actually good in the movie, and they don't even touch it in technical. So we're gonna go with a goose egg prediction for Ammonite, which is still a good movie, but
and I'm kind of getting ready to just stop with Sophia Loren. I'm getting ready to be
oh yeah.
she's nowhere, and maybe like she'll do better at the other things because they just love her and they want to, but nobody cared about The Life Ahead, let's be honest. Like maybe a couple of you, like, you know, we appreciate you, but nobody cared about The Life Ahead. It was fine. And she was a supporting performance almost.
Okay,
and
we have a good question here. Is Promising Young Woman gonna win comedy film at the Globes? Here's an interesting thing.
Very good question.
Okay, so and also I saw someone ask if Prom was getting nominated for SAG Ensemble. I think that's actually kind of silly. And here's the thing: some people, like normal people who have watched the movie, who like aren't film buffs that I've talked to, like they don't even love it. Like I like it more than some of them, which is weird.
It's just for musical heads, which the Golden Globes are.
So that's kind of weird. That makes me think that it's not going to get ensemble. Like
no,
I think
also they have to
that
nominate,
actually seems like absurd to me.
They have to nominate James Corden if they want to nominate ensemble also. And
wait, no, I was talking about SAG.
Yeah, me too.
You don't have to nominate James.
The cast gets nominated.
Okay.
And also, Minari.
For what? What are you talking about?
For SAG Ensemble.
Oh, sure.
Remember they
sure.
Parasite? They said they're not going to nominate the Asians. They nominated the Asians.
The Prom is stupid for ensemble, I think.
Yeah, kind of. But I wouldn't discount it, buddy. I mean, they love that shit. Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
No. That was a good movie. It's stupid.
You like the Prom?
I do like the Prom. I think a lot of people don't like it though.
That's
true. And I think
it's very true actually.
I was like, oh my god, this is a crowd pleaser, and then a lot of people I've talked to who seem like they would like it were like, yeah, I mean it's fine, and I'm like, oh okay, I would assume you'd like it more, but I'm definitely taking note. And so for that reason, yeah, Promising Young Woman could actually beat the Prom, because people might see the Prom as being a little bit silly, which is not a good look. It's not a great look. So what do you think? Do you think it's gonna win? Win what?
I don't know. I mean,
that would be like a little bit disgusting, wouldn't it?
They're clearly
a little bit disgusting.
Meryl Streep is not beating Carey Mulligan anymore. I really think Carey Mulligan's fucking winning the Golden Globe here. I really think that's just gonna happen.
Yeah,
it would be disgusting.
We've said this too. Promising Young Woman could be the Get Out of the season. I agree. Like,
I know.
If it's the anything of the season, that's what it could be.
Which means you could see director. That's what it means.
I know the Prom's not going to make it above the Globes. I agree. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Ammonite being boring.
James Corden getting nominated for a Razzie. That's pretty.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen probably. Five Bloods ensemble nomination. That's an interesting.
Might happen.
That could happen.
That's actually like what I'm going to look out for. Like if Five Bloods doesn't get in for SAG, doesn't look great. But if it does get in for SAG, it makes me think that could be really strong, because my thing with the Five Bloods, why I'm hesitant to put it on Best Picture, is the audience scores kind of suck for it, and I don't know if, like, you know, the guilds are very like audience-y in a way because there's so many people.
Favorite film of the year so far? I'm thinking of Ending Things. That's probably obvious if you've seen some videos of mine.
Yeah, check out that analysis, watch it again, do all that shit.
I don't really have like I don't know if I have a solid number two. There's a lot of movies I'm gonna rewatch. I literally have 30 movies on a list of some things that I need to watch, either again or like for the first time before the end of the year. So it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
I've not been watching a lot of movies.
Yeah, I really
my
got to
free
catch
time.
up, like watching like Bakurao and all the foreign films and shit before I
Yeah.
make my top 10.
Yeah. And it's not because I don't want to watch films. It's because I choose to do other things in my free time. Uh, to what else? Let's see. Okay, this is kind of late.
Someone mentioned like Gary Oldman maybe not getting nominated. Like,
Yeah, he's not a
he's
lot.
not going to win any awards. I'll tell you that. He's not going to win anything. And honestly, yeah, he could get snubbed. There's always been something in my head where I'm like, what if he's De Niro in The Irishman? And that could be the case because I fucking actually think that Riz Ahmed's like secure. I don't know how this happened so quickly.
Yeah.
Kingsley Ben-Adir is not even in the conversation at this point.
Yeah,
Stephen
he's
Yeun?
nowhere to be seen.
Stephen Yeun could swap out for Gary Oldman or maybe Colin Firth or something. I don't know, but I think Gary Oldman's the swap. Delroy Lindo's doing well. Riz Ahmed's doing well, and then of course Hopkins and Boseman. Like that's a hell of a top four.
Someone shouted out City Hall. I kind of want to watch that too. That director is interesting.
But that's the 4-hour one, is
Yeah.
it not?
Yeah, it's a 4-hour documentary, but that's like the point. It's like I think I don't know, it's like Frederick Wiseman or something. He makes like crazy long documentaries that are just like people talking and exploring like actual like physical spaces and like the people in them, that kind of thing.
Also, wait, hold on. Aren't the guilds full of film people? So I got in trouble for this on Twitter. I'm really bad at articulating this, but I want to try to clear it up. Like when I say like that the guilds are audience members, or that the Oscars want something audience friendly, or that they're not going to like Mank because Mank's for film people. Obviously, the Oscars are for film people. It's like there's a mixture where the Oscars for sure have some people that are like, that probably love First Cow or whatever, and then they have people who love Bohemian Rhapsody and they just want like a good fun movie, and it's a mixture. So it's like, a movie that wins the Oscars has to be somewhat crowd pleasing, and it has to be somewhat appealing to critics. Like it's usually a little bit of both, and so yeah, that's what I mean by that.
All right, we've hit an hour. What do you think?
I think we're
Out of steam.
Yeah,
I think we're out of steam.
I can't believe that I thought that we were gonna go through all the fucking awards. I think in the future maybe we'll just like I'll make a fucking chart. I'll tally it all up, and then we can just go over like what's going up, what's going down, and shit like that. Did the title? Did we put that we're gonna talk about Sundance in the title? Oh, we can't. We're not getting to that.
Yeah, we're not getting.
Just gonna delete that from the
Goodbye.
title right now. Yeah. So Sundance is. Yeah. We
can talk about that in another video.
Maybe.
I guess.
Do you care if we talk about Sundance? Because
We can talk about it.
I don't even know if I'm going.
No, just don't talk about it. It's too much for one video.
No, I'm asking if they want me to talk about Sundance.
They're gonna say
later.
yes. Oh, for later. Okay, fine. Yeah.
'Cause not a lot of people seem to care about it. Not the way that the Toronto lineup matters.
Well, we're gonna go to Sundance, or we're gonna try to get to see those films.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that all the hopefuls, like, oh my god, they're gonna have Next Goal Wins or Come On, or Judas or Billie Holiday. None of that happened. Is the bottom line of what happened there. Yeah, I think we're good to wrap up.
All right.
We've been rambling for a very, very long time about all our thoughts that we've contained up about these Critic Awards, what they mean and what they don't. We still don't know what they mean and what they don't because we're not mind readers, but we're
glad to see
off
that
to
some
predict.
stuff is up. We need Paul Racy to get nominated. We need that.
Yep, that needs to happen.
Just tell him thank you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
What circle are you in?
All right.
Okay.